Hey guys, what's up? I know it's been a while. It's been real busy, obviously, with Thanksgiving weekend. I joined the franchise, that's why I'm playing with the Panthers. Unfortunately, that's who I ended up with on my team. So I'm doing a little bit of labbing here, but I just wanted to cover actually in this video um, a couple different things about Madden players that I've noticed. This is kind of going to be more of a rant video while I'm sitting here labbing. So I apologize. I'm going to be releasing something more scheme based here on defense soon. But I just wanted to go over something because it's really getting under my skin. First thing is, I don't know what it is with Madden players and their incessant need to whine about every freaking Madden that ever comes out in the history of forever. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that the Madden franchise is perfect because it certainly isn't. It comes out with bad games from time to time. There are a lot of exploits that you can use. A lot of one-play touchdowns. Sometimes you have some major issues in Maddens. But I mean, it is every year, okay? And every year they talk about how glitchy it is and how there's nanos and how there's all this nonsense. When in reality, nanos have been in the game ever since the game has been around. Okay, nanos will always be in the game because nanos are in real football. If you watch a real football game, I was watching Monday night game tonight. Jamal Adams came around the C gap untouched. Okay, and it's just because of the fact if you bring six guys against five, you're going to have one win. Or even if you bring three guys on one side of the line against two, you're going to win because the tackle on the other side is not going to be able to make it all the way over. Um, so the idea that nanos haven't existed the whole time in football as well as in Madden is ridiculous, and I'm really tired of hearing Madden players just constantly whine about there's nanos and people run the same plays and just shut up. I mean, it's every freaking year, and it's only Madden players too. It's not like this happens. I mean, I know that there are some bad players in 2K and Call of Duty, but can you imagine a Call of Duty player being like, "Oh my goodness, Call of Duty is not like real life. Like, if you get shot one time with a sniper rifle, you're probably gonna die." Well, no, Sherlock. I mean, come on. This is so this idea that like, oh well, Madden, it's supposed to be a football sim. They need to make it a football sim. It's never been it's football akin, but it's never really been a major football sim. And it's like so this idea that like, oh well, Madden's worse now than it's ever been. Any idiot that says that Madden is worse now than it has ever been has not been playing Madden for very long. Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, the glitches in this game compared to the glitches back in 08, 09, 10, I mean, the glitches in 9 or 10 or 11 make the glitches in this look just like you're swimming in the freaking kiddie pool. Like, they used to have a glitch, and some of you guys might remember if you played Madden back that far. They used to have a glitch where you could click a certain amount of buttons and you were in the QB kneel. Okay? You'd hike the football. And the quarterback, I mean, you wouldn't hike, you'd hit this certain combinations of buttons. The quarterback would just start walking up the field through the offensive lineman. And you couldn't tackle him, you couldn't hit him, you couldn't do anything except go off sides, which obviously you'd lose 5 yards. And if you kept going off sides, you would eventually get kicked for griefing. So it was one of these things where they could just make it all the way across the field. And they could do it over and over and over and over again. They could just hike it in the end zone, touchdown, and there was nothing you could do about it. In 08, they had the DC glitch where if you came out in an onside kick and audible and called timeout at the right time, it booted both of you from the freaking game. And they would do this crap all the time. So like this weird notion that people have, and I think it's just they're not as good at this game as they were at last year's game, or they're not as good as they would like to be, or whatever. Or they're playing it for different reasons, or a lot of these people have channels specifically dedicated to just whining about the game. But I mean, the reality is the glitches in this game are honestly pretty minor if you compare them to glitches of the past. Now, that's not to say the game's perfect or that they don't need to improve on some things or that I don't think there are some things in this game that are complete trash. One of the things I think is complete trash is basically they made it so that They were tired of people throwing to the outside receiver immediately, so they've made the corners extra reactive. So they'll jump a bubble screen even if their zone is deep for some strange reason. So don't get me wrong, and it allows you to get touchdown plays over top of them if you don't make certain adjustments. So I'm not saying that this game is perfect. That's not the point of this video. My point is the game has always had its major flaws. Okay? It has never been a perfect game. And as a matter of fact, the glitches in this one and the ability to run nanos in this one is really tame compared to some of the games of years past. Another thing is, I'm just, Madden players in general, and I said this already in the video, but I mean, they just whine about everything. They lose your trash. They win your garbage. They're just like, they're the worst. They're the most toxic fan base ever. And like I said, I've been playing Madden for a long time. Okay, and I've been playing it, I would say, at a pretty decent level, at least a reasonably high level, or above average level for over 10 years. And I mean, these guys are just the worst. And they've been this way for a long time. And people wonder why the Madden community is diminishing, or why there's not as many people that play the game. It's because every year it comes out, everybody whines because it's not as perfect as they would like it to be. Or, well, they invested more in MUT. Of course they invested more in MUT. MUT is what sells. They're going to keep investing in MUT until basically the fan base makes a decision. They're not going to make these stupid microtransactions. I think it's the dumbest thing ever, but we're the ones that did it. We spent the freaking money. So they're just going to do, I mean, I can't blame them. Why wouldn't they do it? It's going to make them more money. Now, again, this is not to say, oh, well, they shouldn't, this excuses them and they shouldn't make a better game. But what I'm saying is, of course, that's where they're going to put all their money. You're going to put your money in the areas that make you the most freaking money. And people just say the most ridiculous stuff like this is the worst Madden of all time. This is not even close to the worst Madden of all time. If you want to talk about glitches or nanos, or it's not even close. It's not even near the worst when it comes to glitches. Like I said, you had the QB walk glitch, you had the DC glitch. I mean, crap. I remember back in 18, you had way more glitches in 18. Now, does that mean that 18 was more fun? Like, you could say, like, this game is less fun than 18, but that's not objective. That's just, in your opinion, that's not as fun. Which is fine. I'm not saying that it is or isn't. But my point is that's different than saying, well, the game is completely glitchy, out of control, and it's all animations. And I mean, just shut up. It's ridiculous. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of EA. I don't think that EA has done a phenomenal job with the Madden franchise. But my goodness, it's like every year. I mean, you look at the reviews for this game and they're completely trash. But it's not like that's unique to this game. I mean, it's every Madden that comes out every year. I mean, every year. There are, like I said, there are distinct videos to it. Maybe if you would learn how to play just regular old football, it wouldn't really matter whether or not the game changes, because they're going to make changes to the game because people like y'all just whine and whine and whine and whine and whine about, like, oh, well, they run the stretch all the time, or they run the this all the time. They wonder why EA overcompensates constantly. EA overcompensates because people just continue to whine about the same crap in the game. So they whine and they whine and they whine and they whine and they whine, and then EA makes the adjustment, and they over-adjust, exposing another major gap because you can't cover it all. And then everybody goes, oh, well, now the game's even more trash because now the cornerback reacts really poorly on this particular play. It's just, I'm not saying it because I want you guys to be like, oh, well, I want you to say that Madden is like, that somehow this year's Madden was some kind of great game. Because that's not the point I'm trying to make. But the point I'm trying to make is at the end of the day, every year cannot be the worst Madden that has ever come out. You know, people look back sometimes to Madden 16 and say it was somehow this great game. Back in Madden 16, people were whining about it not being realistic either. And a lot of this is because people are buying Madden with some weird expectation that magically it's going to become a football sim overnight and it'll be just like real football. First of all, if it was just like real football, nanos would exist. So, and if it was also just like real football, if you come out in a dollar or a quarter or a nickel and somebody comes out in a giant iPhone package, they're going to run you over. So most of y'all don't even really want it to be like real football, because if it was like real football, the majority of y'all wouldn't know what to do because the majority of y'all don't understand how real football works. And that's blatantly obvious by the complaints, by the oh, nanos don't exist, or oh, zone coverage can be abused with crossing patterns, as if you haven't watched the Rams do that every freaking week, or if we don't watch the various offenses in the league abuse zone coverage with these long form crossing patterns. I mean, it's almost as if nobody's watched the air raid develop over the last 5 years. So this is just a little rant that I wanted to go on. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. I'm not trying to get at anybody specifically in the community. I just have noticed, as a general rule, Madden players are some of the whiniest, most ridiculous, cringiest people, because they just, first of all, they're extremely sore losers, and they get butthurt over every game. Every game that ever comes out for Madden, they get butthurt every time because, oh, the game's trash. Never, and I'm not saying that sometimes the game is not great. What I am saying is no one ever takes a step back and like, well, maybe instead of me sitting here whining about why this isn't working, maybe I should just acknowledge that it's not working and figure out what is. Given that, that's the whole freaking premise. And one other thing before I know I was just closing out, but one other thing before I finish out. Stop whining about people running the same plays over and over again. Okay? People are going to keep. Imagine, I watched a football game tonight with Seattle versus Philly. DK Metcalf was making Slay. He was little boy in Slay every play, it felt like. And Russell Wilson just kept feeding DK. He just kept feeding him and kept feeding him and kept feeding him. Imagine if Philly went up to the microphone, right? They went up and they were like, well, the only reason they won is because they just kept throwing the ball to DK Metcalf. They just kept throwing the ball to him. If they hadn't kept throwing the ball to him, they wouldn't have been able to score near the amount of points. So honestly, I don't think they're all that good at the game because they just kept throwing to DK Metcalf. We'd all be like, you're ridiculous. We would all call for Doug Peterson's job, and rightfully so. Because the object is not to have them stop running something because you can't stop it. How about you just stop whatever they're doing? If you would just stop what they're doing, you wouldn't have to worry about it. But that's not how Madden players think. It's, oh, well, I can't stop it because it's unstoppable. Very clearly. Even though I've never seen one play that you could say is completely unstoppable. I've seen plays that are really difficult to stop. I've seen plays that have had a lot of success against certain looks. I've seen a lot of different, and ran a lot of different money plays that are really good. But just because a play is really good or very difficult to stop does not mean it's unstoppable. And the reality is I'm not going to stop running a play because you can't stop it. As a matter of fact, that's a good reason for me to keep running the play. So, moral of the story, maybe as Madden players, the problem is we need to stop whining and take a look at maybe why we continue over and over again to complain about this game. Yet, not only do we keep buying it, but we never think to ourselves like, oh, well, maybe the game is not the problem. Maybe I'm just frustrated because I feel like this should be working. Or maybe I just suck at this game and I feel like I shouldn't suck because I'm doing X, Y, Z. Take a little bit of personal responsibility. I know it's shocking, and I know it's really difficult for everyone in the Madden community to ever take any personal responsibility for anything, or to ever admit that maybe they might be the one that's trash at the game and not the game designers. But just maybe. And like I said, if you think this is not unique to Madden, let me know in the comments. Let me know. But I've played many other games. I've talked to many other people that game at a very high level at other games, such as Call of Duty, such as Gears of War, such as MMORPG games. I've even done it with PC games. No other gaming community, even 2K, no other gaming community whines to the level that Madden players whine. No other gaming community is so unbearably toxic that it makes it to where new players that come into Madden don't want to play the game because the community themselves just whine. They just whine. And to me, that's the message that as Madden players that we're sending out. And like I said, if 2K comes out with another game, then yeah, we can look at 2K and see which game is better, and maybe we can transition to that game. But as of right now, Madden has the rights to the game. So if you want to play a football game, this is the route you got to go. I love football, and I love the fact that I can actually play a game which at least has football concepts in it. It's not a direct football sim, but there are concepts that will work in this game that would work in real life. So we're just gonna have to work with what we got. We can make it. We can try to make it better. But every year saying, "Well, hashtag ban Madden." Oh my gosh, all they do is put money in the MUT. If you know they put money in the MUT, stop spending money on MUT. Stop getting in MUT because they're gonna keep putting money into stuff. Whatever makes them the most money. I don't play in MUT. The reason I don't play in MUT has nothing to do with the fact that I don't like MUT. I like MUT a lot, but I'm not willing to spend the additional money after I spent $65 on the game. And it sucks because, like I said, most of the competitive action happens in MUT. That's where I would like to be. And I've tried to play MUT. I've tried to grind through, but you can't grind fast enough. I'm not going to sit there and grind on the CPU, which is no fun at all. But that's the choice that I had to make. You can make your own choice. If you're tired of putting all the money in MUT, then stop getting in MUT. And you can't stop what other people do, but maybe you need to just look back at yourself instead of always whining. Because that is just, I've noticed personally, most Madden players, that's what they do. They just whine. I get beat all the time. I try to tell the person, good game, even if they ran some cheesy nonsense. Because the reality is, once you get high enough in Madden, you go run into a lot of cheese. And that's any game. You get high enough in Call of Duty, people are going to do some cheesy stuff. You get high enough in anything. People start doing some cheesy stuff, the better you get, the more people want to win. So they do whatever it takes to win. So you can either whine about it or get better. That's my point. Go ahead and like, subscribe. I'm sorry, like I said, this was on my mind. I had to get this rant out real quick. I'm gonna come out with another scheme video here shortly. Like I said, this was Thanksgiving. I had 2 weeks here and had a lot of things going on. Had some personal family stuff, but I'll get back at it. Thank you guys so much again. Like, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know if you guys have seen the same kind of thing in Madden. If you guys have seen some of this toxic nonsense in Madden, because I know I've stumbled across tons of YouTube channels where this is literally what they do, is they just get on here, record some nonsense that happens. Oh, they'll do some nonsense where they'll type it like this, and they'll throw it into triple coverage, and see something like that'll happen, and then they'll go into the instant replay and be like, see, the way that bounced off totally defied gravity, and that would never bounce off that way. In reality, this would have been caught or whatever nonsense. I mean, they literally do this. You can find them in a heartbeat. So just let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. Like I said, I'm going to be releasing another video soon. I joined a franchise, so I got the Panthers now. So I might record a couple games, upload these onto YouTube. Do a couple film breakdowns with them, I think. But let me know what you guys want to see. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, thank you so much. Y'all have a great rest of y'all's day.